Hello everyone. This lecture is Information Infrastructure from Creation, Diffusion and Utilization of Knowledge. Let's begin.
We'll be trying to define what's information infrastructure and look at the elements of the information infrastructure, and also we'll be looking at the role of information professionals. Okay. Okay, what's the definition of information infrastructure? The information infrastructure is a global network of people, organization, agencies, policies, processes, and technologies organized in the system to enhance the creation, production, dissemination, organization, storage, retrieval, and preservation of information and knowledge for people. So the primary objective of this network should be the diffusion of knowledge for a society. Let's think about small company. Okay, there are the people who work with, right? And then there are a small department in the company, that's the organization, and then the agencies that work with the department, and then there are the policies, the regulations to manage the company, and then the processes, right? And then the technologies that um, have helpful to organize the system. And why we have those organization and system? Why do we need this infrastructure? In order to infuse, diffuse knowledge for the company. Okay. Again, the infrastructure is composed with the people, the organizations, and the policies and the processes. But these are all for the people who work in within the infrastructure. And then the best function of infrastructure is to uh, make the knowledge can be transferred to other people in the organization. Okay. Okay, so what's important for us as information professionals? Technology is a important tools which enhance the information infrastructure. But as information professionals, we need to focus on first the users and the human element of the information infrastructure. The core of information professions must be focused on people as users information, and the secondary focus should be on the design of organization and services to deliver the information. Libraries are but one element of the information infrastructure. So for instance, managing a library or database in the library is a very important, but that's just a specific activity. Um, Other information professions are defined by the kinds of information systems managed within the information infrastructures. For example, like museums, websites, and the archives. Those are the defined as one of the information system managed within the information infrastructure. Again, technologies will change, but what's important for us is how people process information, and the most significant aspect of the that is the most important aspect of the information professions. So, what is our role as information professionals? As we talk about the libraries are as a very important element in information structure. So, the library should take responsibility to know what is the community's needs and how the community can advance to get the knowledge through an effective information system. So the library should be in the center of the development of a community information infrastructure. Okay, let's take a look at what kind of elements in the information infrastructure in the next slide. Um, this table is adapted from Roger Greer's books. He provides the information about what kind of elements in information infrastructure. Um, what is the definition of information infrastructure? That's transferring ideas from one individual or groups to another, right? And what's the systems? That's uh, if we are talking about like a transportation, it could be air and water or land. So in information infrastructure, it could be publishing, broadcasting systems like cable systems, satellite communication, or the internet, also the libraries, and also government agencies. So what's conveyances? Like trains, bus, or cars, like airplanes in the transportation infrastructure. There could be books, right? Magazines, television, radio, audio recordings, video recordings, emails, software that carry information and knowledge. So what can be the channels? If in transportation infrastructure, there could be rails like roads, highways, like the paths for the bicycle, or that can be a sport for the conveyances. So it can be publishing, right, and newspapers, broadcasting systems, cable systems, satellite communications, the internet, libraries, government agencies. Those are the sport information and knowledge transfer. So, what is the sport industries? Like printing industry, software producers, hardware manufacturers, right? So what's our government influence? That's the policies, right? Information policy, laws, and regulations. So what's personnel? Um, like engineers, technicians, information professionals, and office workers, and support personnel. So these are the elements of the information infrastructure. Okay. So let's take a look a little bit of the short history of how the revolutions occurred in information infrastructure. The printing invention that's brought the publishing industry, right? So it is kind of a revolution of distribution of knowledge in the 15th century. So last 5 decades, the advances in broadcasting that contribute to distribution of the knowledge. For the last 2 decades, 20 years ago, with the advance in computer technology, that brought a revolution in distribution of knowledge. And the information structure has exploded with the infusion of digital technologies into an existing infrastructure long dominated by the book publishing industry. So this is like brief um, the history about what kind of revolutions in information infrastructure. it's right now it is the by the internet technology. It's just infusion of digital technology that occurred in our areas, and then it's replaced uh, uh, by the those are replaced by the book publishing industry. That has been like a long term the infrastructure in our the history. Okay, before we discuss about how the information can be produced and disseminated, let's talk about how the knowledge can be created. Actually, we discussed this before, how uh, uh, the data and information can become the knowledge and how it can be diffused. The knowledge creation requires research process and peer reviewed process before receiving any social knowledge. For example, think about how a news can be broadcasted. Right? It needs the systematic and thorough process. I talk about that. Uh, um, there is some instant, but before it the transferred from one area to other the paper through the medium, it cannot become the information or knowledge, and like a paper published in a journal that requires a uh, review process. I mean, a peer reviewed process, and then it can be produced through the journal, and then it become disseminated to other people. So the key component of the information creation process is peer reviewed, and researchers and experts in the field of study reviewing the work of peers in the field, like a book or journals. So let's take a look what kind of patterns in information or knowledge creation and recording. There are mass production, right? And then it should be disseminated through these government publications, and through by the libraries, and by the broadcast industry and the internet. And then another pattern, there is bibliographic control over record that provide the information, and then so that it can be disseminate the knowledge by through national bibliographies, and there's another private sector publishers and OCLC or LC or other the subject bibliographies. We'll take a look in the next slide. So, as we discussed briefly previous slides, that until 1920s, the most knowledge was disseminated through the print media, right? And during 20s, that radio was the an innovation and contribute to the distributing information widely. And after World War II, television was the major player to transport information, right? At the time, the entertainment was popular, but also news and education programs were also popular too. And then early the late 90s, 1960s, the internet was invented, and then few researchers started to use the internet. I mean the personal computer using the internet, and then 1990s the internet become just become available for the public, so that the internet is the main medium to transfer and disseminate the information. So the dissemination of information can become available from government publications and also the library service and the broadcast industry and the internet. I recommend to take government document if you are considering become a reference librarian, and especially for the public library. Also, the academic library, that government document is the key knowledge that you need to have in order to provide the good service for your patron. That so government publications, that is one of the most prolific publishers and disseminator of the information, including all the hearings, right, studies, reports of their works that are published and disseminated through the school, public, academic, and special libraries and information centers. And the libraries is since the development of public libraries, especially during the first half of the 19th century, that the libraries have played an increasing role in the dissemination of the information and knowledge. So libraries or the schools, they regard libraries as a schools. And then the broadcast industry, like TV, radio network, and cable TV and satellite transmission, those are the major players for the dissemination, and the internet. So, and bibliographic control of record. These are main product of our library professionals, and it provides a standardization and complete information about the information object, right? So those are that the users can access easily to the information object. Most country, like each country has their own service by national with having the national bibliographies. In the U.S., it's in the U.S. I believe there isn't any the national libraries, but LC, Library of Congress, has the role as national act like national libraries in this country. But in all other countries, they have their own national libraries and has played the role as national libraries, and they have national bibliographies. And also there is private sector publishers that they provide bibliographic control. If you are taking 501, that's the collection development class, you will have the opportunity to look at the Booker's publisher, books and print, that and also cumulative book index by Wilson. Those bibliographic control are published by private sector, and this is major industry. They provide the information about the publications. And OCLC, that's provide the world's largest bibliographic record. I forgot how many record they have, but like 2 or 3 years ago it was almost million, maybe more than that. So, well, we will discuss this more in detail in the next PowerPoint slides, not this lecture note. And then there is LC. In the US, the LC plays a national library role, such as controlling National Union catalog of LC. Okay. it's British Library. This is a good example of national library. There is a typo. I'm sorry. And then subject bibliographies, the customized to a specific user groups by providing access point with subject, like a MESG, that's like a medical subject heading, or what is the special one? MESG, and also it's like the controlled vocabulary for a specific organizations. So these are the bibliographic control of records that disseminate information. Uh, the organization of information and knowledge. Uh, these are major product by our information professionals, and there is like the DDC system. It's Dewey Decimal System. This is the most popular classification system in the world, and also there is LC system. This is most popular in the United States. When I took my library science course in my university in Korea, I didn't. We talk about the LC, but we don't use the LC. So I believe the LC system is only exists in the United States. The cataloging electronic resources. The metadata are the data associated with electronic data. I think the next PowerPoint slide, we can discuss about this organization of information and knowledge. So the Dublin core has like 15 elements that provides the access point, and this is data over data. I mean the metadata. It's associated with electronic data. I mean the digital the data. Let's take a look later, okay? And also other creative cataloging systems that there are some like color systems, and what else? There are some very the clever and very smart the organization scheme developed by this country, and just as is the became major the cataloging system in the US. But I believe that this is still popular in public libraries and also other countries. So let's take a look what are the patterns for diffusion of knowledge. Diffusion is the transmission of knowledge from one individual and groups of another, right? So learning must occur for diffusion to be successful. So when I think we discussed about this before, and like what I'm doing to you is one of the diffusion of the knowledge, and also you are doing the diffusion of knowledge by learning this librarianship, right? And so library service should have a goal to support knowledge diffusion, and this would be done by engaging with the client and supporting learning through the use of information resources. Again, so this is important to focusing on our users and the client, your community, in order to diffuse the knowledge. So how can you utilize the information in our society? The information use is possible only after information or knowledge has been diffused, isn't it? So you need the link between diffusion and information use. For example, if you have a new software programming, you have, and then maybe you may want to use the new for instance, like the index feature of the or the processing software, if there is, and then you read the document that with the software and read carefully the help information that provided. And when you have comprehended this information, you are able to use that new knowledge to construct that index. So we can say information use is the one of the application of knowledge to problems or issues in our world. Okay, and then uh, uh, we also need to help people that uh, who may feel overwhelmed by with all this new information they encounter every day. So we are kind of the mediator to have them information use, and then it can become other knowledge in this society. And then it's important to preserve the information, and it's preservation actually requires a lot of practical steps, and you need to study of different kinds of the materials, including the papers and like the chemical properties, and it depends on the books or magazine or photographs or papers that the document that in order to preserve the correctly. So as you may know, we just started in this semester that we have a new preservation courses, which is uh, it, it's one of the archival studies. I think it's fascinating area that you may think about when if you are interested in the preserving or archival study. The Library Congress has taken a leading role in a national effort to archive and preserve digital information. So you may go to look at their website, especially for the digital preservation site. So let's summarize about what the role of information professionals by information transfer model. Okay, knowledge creation and recording. It can be indexes, right, and bibliographies, catalog, and also leading researchers. It's knowledge creation and recording, right? And then there is produce about the information like the publishing, broadcasting, and web mastery field. And then it should be disseminated by acquiring, organizing, and circulating information and the knowledge. And then there is a bibliographic control that record and in a systematic way with the standardization. Those are the catalog and classification. And then you need to diffuse the knowledge to help client understand the information they are encountering, right? And then after the diffuse knowledge, the information should be used, right? So helping individuals and group to use information effectively. And then we need to preserve the information, need to evaluate and preserve that information which has lasting value for organization and the customers of that organization. So it is important to understand that information infrastructure, because it is very fundamental foundations for studying information professions, and it is. I wish that the information professionals have seen have to recognize the responsibility to develop the infrastructure. So, as we discussed, we are in a very important position in our society to acquire the information and organize the information, and also try to diffuse the knowledge, and also help the people to understand the knowledge. Okay. uh, so, mm, it's just somewhat theoretical, but I hope you could understand what I wanted to tell you. That what's the uh, what is important that we have to think about our profession. It is a very important role that we need to do in this the infrastructure and information, and I hope you can view our role as not just specific in detail, but try to see and as a big picture. And as you can see, we need to provide the important role in this society. Okay. I hope you enjoy this lecture, and let's having another lecture soon. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this lecture is brought from a book, The Introduction to the Library and Information Professions by these authors. Okay, thanks for listening, and hope you can enjoy this class. Okay, have a great day.